self-love doesn't trump the need for romantic love. It doesn't trump the need for companionship. It doesn't trump the need for like wanting to share life with someone.
The B Word Studio.
This is exciting.
Victoria.
Oh my God.
You are listening to What the Relationship with your co-host Candice and
Lungi.
and our extra special guest
Bokang.
If you're looking for a podcast that talks about everything nice, everything spicy, we're talking about Lungelo, we hope we'll make a great pair. Today we are literally talking about our love lessons of 2022. And I think it's a really, really good exercise to do because we often don't do that, especially, you know, we just go into the new year and we're like, oh, I want this, but we haven't reflected on the lessons that we've learned. So
before we do that,
Okay.
She always goes before we do that.
we always do an icebreaker.
Yeah.
Just it's not quick question, but not quick answer. What have you learned about yourself this year?
Oh my goodness. It definitely isn't a quick answer. I think, the first thing that just comes to mind is that how expansive I am as a human being.
Right.
I think a lot of the time in my life, I always thought I was like this kind of person, and really limited myself and put myself in a box because that was what I was comfortable with. That was what, how everyone else knew me. So I just operated in that. But I think this year, it's like I'm constantly evolving.
Yes.
And that's something to be welcomed. And, it's changing.
Yeah.
And changing isn't cute. But I can handle the change, So I think any challenge, anything, I might not enjoy the process, but I'm definitely going to make my way through it. And that's something, I've got what it takes. That's what I've learned.
I think what I've learned this year about myself is I'm loving the woman that I'm becoming.
Come on, sister.
I'm excited for her future.
Yes.
But I'm also just loving the ability to just recognize that I'm in the process, like you said, of evolving and unlearning and relearning. It's such a beautiful thing, and I'm just embracing it. Like I'm not hesitant to it. I'm not despondent.
Yes.
I'm just like every day I'm learning something new about myself. I think what I've also started to learn is just embracing my Paul Charles calls it like your little devil, that little thing.
Oh, period.
And
devil and angel.
And I'm starting to just embrace my devil and be like, I think the reason why you're always being negative, Nancy, is because you're maybe worried about something not working out. Maybe worried, you're trying to protect me from something, and I hear you, I validate you, but it's gonna be fine. Instead of seeing this thing as like a get off me. I don't wanna. I listen to it and I see, maybe not. It's fine, So I'm embracing all sides to myself and also taking the time to do immediate action to it. So if I'm feeling tired, I'm like, let me rest. If I feel like I want to go out for coffee, I haven't had that nice breakfast in a while, let me go and do that. I'm very deliberate about me this year.
Yes.
Oh, I know that.
Definitely, I agree to that one. I've learned to thoroughly listen to my body, because oftentimes we just want to push through because we have to do what we have to do.
Of course.
But I've been really I've taken the time and the effort to listen to my body. When my body needs something, as it could be as simple as I need a cup of beetroot right now. Because I know that my body wouldn't say this to me if it wasn't for a reason. So it could be that, or it could be, okay, I need to step away from the computer now and go chill for a bit. Because my body knows that, hey, if you don't do this now, you're gonna have an anxiety attack.
Yes.
And that's not what we want. So I've learned to listen to my body, and on top of that, I've realized the art of the process. I've learned about the process, and it's gonna take time, and it's fine that you can't do this thing now. And if you are diligent and consistent, you are going to get where you're gonna get. And I've also learned that consistency is not 100% every day. 100% is showing up the way you can show up every day. If you have 40% to give today and you give 40%, that means you have given 100%.
Yes.
So
don't let the math confuse you.
Exactly.
Right? It makes sense.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
It makes so much sense. I think it's really interesting how like prioritizing yourself and listening to yourself actually makes you feel better about yourself. Because last year I literally found myself burnt out, extremely fatigued, collapsing because I wasn't listening to myself. And this year I just feel like I looked at year-end fatigue and I was like, I'm not going to be mad about year-end fatigue. I'm actually just going to be like, let me make sure that I'm taking a slow work month so that at least I don't experience it. You know, let me prioritize the things that I need when I'm usually complaining about year-end fatigue, which is often rest, you know, taking care of myself. So I feel a little bit better, you know. So I haven't had as many like panic attacks and emotional breakdowns as I did last year, because it always was just like, what am I doing? Is this working? What is this? Whereas this year I was just like, you know what? I feel fine because I've taken care of myself. I've eaten. I've, you know, done the things that I've really wanted to do. And that's just something that I'm really happy about.
Yeah.
And this is the 1 year where I feel content about how the year is ending.
Me too. I think I totally agree with that, especially when you spoke about like, you know, not really experiencing year-end fatigue. I also think for the first time in my life, I also didn't experience it just because, even though it wasn't deliberate, I took time off everything, you know, and it goes back to what you're saying about rest and listening to your body. I consciously decided that, you know, with work and with everything, I'm going to take a step back. And I don't even know how long it was going to be for. And I think it was like probably for like, you know, 6 to 8 weeks that I was like, I need to reconnect with myself. I need to find where we're going. But I also need to like just enjoy life. I need to live. With year-end fatigue, it's like burnout. You're constantly just pushing. I couldn't even connect with myself anymore. My thoughts, I was like, I can go on dates, but like, he'll ask me what music I listen to. I don't know.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to, I think I was a moment of me like dating myself, being in a talking stage with myself.
Taking yourself on dates.
Exactly. Prioritizing, resting, eating, you know, doing what I needed to do for me.
Yeah.
And then now, in the time where everyone's experiencing year-end fatigue, I feel rested, rejuvenated, and I'm ready to like really kickstart my next phase. So I don't even need that beginning in the new year.
That's
this
beautiful,
is my
guys.
beginning right now.
That's really beautiful.
She's like, that's great. I can't relate.
I really love that for y'all.
It's giving Tay. Congratulations!
Like, girl, but like, I am still within year-end fatigue. Not still within, I'm within it, and I didn't realize that I am experiencing year-end fatigue until I had my last period. And my last period completely obliterated me to the point where I didn't even go to gym. I usually go to gym even when I'm on my period, but I couldn't do that because I'm so exhausted. I'm really so exhausted. And the other thing is that within that rest, when I am resting, I still haven't learned the art of rest, because when I'm resting, I'm still thinking what I could be doing in my rest time. I still need to learn that, you know. Like, I haven't learned that this year. You know? That's the one thing I haven't learned holistically, how to rest. And so in the next year, I would love to know how to rest, know how to rejuvenate, so that, because I need to learn to rest for the next thing, not rest from the other thing.
Of course. And I think that's an powerful thing, because I think this year what I've learned is that rest can look different to what we often see people rest. Like, you know, people are like, holidays, staycations. And I found myself saying, okay, let me work it according to my lifestyle. And often I wouldn't have the time or the means to go out to travel. But I could do a nice staycation for the weekend with a spa treatment. But I'm still working, right? I'm not working like fully. But I'm still responding to emails, strategizing things. It's fine. But I'm still resting at the same point. Like, it was 70% rest, 30% work. Because what we recognize is that yes, sometimes you can take leave, but you'll still get those people saying, hey, I just wanted to double check. You're still working, right? You're still worried about it. But I think it's a matter of how you incorporate it into your lifestyle that is so important. And I also started doing this thing because literally last year when I literally was like so exhausted to the point that I think I blacked out. Sure. Because I wasn't sleeping. I set a thing where an hour before I sleep, no matter if I'm coming home at midnight or at 1 or at 9, an hour before I sleep, I'm drinking tea. I'm washing my face. I am listening to calming music. So that my brain just knows that, okay, I'm actually sleeping now.
It's time to
and what that has done is it's provided like restorative rest, where, usually you sleep and then you wake up and you feel more tired.
Yeah.
I sleep now and I wake up and I feel like I'm ready to do the damn things.
Wow.
And that's something that's free, right? Like, you don't have to like see a doctor or something. You can just say, I'm going to be very deliberate about drinking tea, reading a book, or listening to a podcast or listening to a YouTube video that meditates me. Like, that is something that you intentionally set for yourself. So it's very deliberate where you say, if I take care of myself, you will see the results. And with the period as well, right? Like, I remember beginning of the year, I had the most intense period pain where I was literally like, downward dog. I slept in downward like this.
Yeah.
And my gynae said, okay, what, we've tried, how about we incorporate holistic wellness this year?
Yes.
How about we try, the things that your body needs, like your iron, your magnesium, your what. But let's also incorporate taking hot baths on your period more. Let's incorporate doing yoga poses and that, guys, was the most powerful thing when I found things that worked for me and my period was like, thank you, I feel better. I'm not feeling as much cramps. When my PMS comes, it's not too bad. Yeah. Or because I'm eating the right stuff, I'm taking the time to rest. So really prioritizing myself this year has been the best thing I've done. But I'm so proud
eating of also.
Hey?
Eating.
Look, I've had my days.
The thing is, no, forget junk.
Yeah.
Right? Let's forget Uber Eats for a moment.
Yeah.
No, well, like what I've learned is that if 60% of your meals are proper things, like proper well-balanced meals.
Yes.
Then, and 60% is like, that means breakfast and lunch, Monday to Friday, right? That means dinner every day could be weird as in like 2 chicken wings. Because the thing is, as women, I don't know what it is. We suck at eating. Like, we really suck at eating.
Yeah.
We eat once a day. That's not good, guys.
It's not good.
That's not good, guys. We're killing ourselves. We need to eat more. I need to eat more. I've realized that I need to eat more. And now that I'm going to gym, I've learned that, okay, you actually need to like eat 5 times.
Based off of this eating thing that you're saying is so interesting. It reminds me of this, is it an Instagram or a TikTok account? Yeah. But it's called Meals She Eats.
Yes.
This couple that was struggling with getting pregnant. And her husband, through, cooking meals for her, but like clean eating healthy and understanding like how certain meals are going to affect her hormones.
Yes.
Then through making those meals and obviously starting the page and sharing the recipes, they were documenting the process and now have a baby girl. That's the power of how food can affect your body, especially, as a woman.
Yes. We really need to be cognizant of like the foods we buy and the foods we eat.
Yeah.
We need to learn about that. We need to eat more than once. We need to drink the waters. We need to drink the green teas and all of that.
We need to do the damn thing. So now we incorporate the other halves.
The
men, the partners,
department
the
of
love
learning
of
about that.
The ribs,
the pillars of strength.
The pillars of strength. I'm a ride by.
I'm a stick beside him.
I'm a stick beside.
That's mine.
What was our love lessons of 2022?
Yeah.
Oh, then your son did. Like it had a lot behind it.
Girl.
I'll start being wholesome about it.
Okay.
And then I'll go into the other one later. But I've definitely learned that self-love doesn't trump the need for romantic love. It doesn't trump the need for companionship. It doesn't trump the need for like wanting to share life with someone. Those are two different things, and one definitely, both need to be cultivated, but the most important one, yes, initially love yourself first, because yourself is yourself forever.
Facts.
Whether you have a romantic relationship or not, yourself is yourself forever. So that is a relationship that you're gonna have until the day you die.
Of course.
But now in romantic love, that's also something that you need to work on, and all of those things. Yeah, we'll carry on with the other stuff later. You guys go. You guys go.
Oh man. Oh my gosh. It's so funny. I think because usually when it comes to like my love life, it's pretty quiet.
Okay.
But then for like majority of the year, because I feel like I'm very much like just so all consumed with work, and it just gets so busy, and especially when you're very passionate about something, it's so easy for you to just do that. And as an entrepreneur trying to build something.
Facts.
But when I have my spouts or my seasons of romance, it's like a lot.
It's drama. It's a movie.
It really is a movie.
Love it for you. Love it for you.
No, but I don't know why, but my movies have been having bittersweet endings lately. I'm like, So I feel like in the lessons that I've learned this year, I can't really say whether like they're not fully good or fully bad. I think it's just like a mixture of both. But the first one that comes to mind is that I think I've learned to just let things go and not hold on to things so much.
Right.
For me, and I know a lot of the women around me, there's a desire to, have a partner and your forever person. So yeah, I think I'm learning the art of really letting go, and not being so attached to this idea of forever. And if something ends, it isn't necessarily a bad thing. And if anything, the finiteness of love or an experience or romantic thing with someone, the finiteness of it allows me to be more present and enjoy it that much more.
Of course, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I think that's a big thing. I'm learning to detach from the outcome so much, so that I can just honestly just really
because
be in it fully.
In that, I used to do that a lot. Like, what is the outcome of being with this person? Then I'm already projecting what things are happening, and so I often will then romanticize the idea.
That's me too.
Rather than
the person.
And then you focus more on like what this person does, but you're not looking at like, is this person for me?
Yeah.
And that is obviously from a consumerist society that we live in, because we're so set on we need to be with a person, we need to do this, and we're not often focused on what are the values that this person brings. I wouldn't say brings to the table, but they have, and whether it is, I wouldn't say fulfilling, but it will match my life. And will those values then will our values bring the best out of each other?
Yeah.
That's something that I think I had to really unlearn, especially during my single-ish days. And then just seeing that, like, I'd often meet someone and be like, oh, you're incredible, I love the conversations, I can see this working out, and then latching on, rather than actually saying that actually this person doesn't listen to what I say, this person's very more focused on like what I do rather than who I am, and things like that. So that was very important. I think my love lesson this year has to be being soft, and not like soft life, but being soft.
You're saying a lot.
I think
she's saying a lot.
I think we come from households where we see tough black women, and we see that
Candice.
We see that exerted in relationships, and so we are now with people, young men who are living in societies where they're being asked to do a lot of things, and now you're with someone who's also adding to that pressure.
Listen,
and
you're hitting me.
I've learned with my relationship of 5 years that being soft is the greatest love language for him. I mean, it could also maybe be for other people, But when I am soft for him in expressing concern or expressing care or expressing worry, he knows that I can be that safe space for him to land onto instead of then becoming another problem. And ultimately then making the relationship a problem. And that has been something that I've obviously learned through by deliberately and intentionally taking the step of going to couples therapy.
Oh, wow.
We've been doing it since the beginning of the year, and it's been a journey of understanding each other's models of love from where we came from, and then trying to match that with what we want. And how we want to establish that in our, our future life. And what I've also recognized is that comparing is something you shouldn't do, right? It's the killer of joy, because in that right now what I'm seeing, where I'm seeing my other friends is engagements, babies, weddings, buying houses, with their base. And where we're at right now is we are building, right? So he's working, I'm working, but we're in that phase of building for us to have that life.
Yeah.
And that took me some time to recognize, because I was always like, but why am I not getting this? Where is this? But I'm like, no, but in order for us to get that, we're working on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so being understanding to that journey and recognizing that each relationship will have its phase is so important.
And each relationship is different.
And you also have to review your relationship, guys.
Yeah.
You have to look back maybe once a month, and say, okay,
like
so
Sierra and Russell.
Yeah, like doing a review.
Yes.
Say last month wasn't the best month because we didn't do the things that fulfill our needs. This month we see that this is happening. How can we do the things to make sure we're happy? Instead of it being a fight against each other.
Yes.
So
I've
really started to learn that my person isn't someone who I must fight, but rather if we come across a challenge, we must tackle it together. And if often the issue is maybe a lack of communication or something that maybe fell through on his part, I shouldn't come with fighting energy. I must come with, babe, today we didn't really talk as much.
Yes.
We need to do better. And often when I do that approach, next day man's is calling 3 times a day.
Yeah, I love this thing of what you said about
right?
being soft, because I don't know if you maybe can relate.
Not maybe.
Not maybe.
You were speaking of it from a relationship perspective, and I could relate in the sense of, as someone who's dating and looking for, a potential partner, something that I didn't realize until I actually, found someone that can bring that soft side out of me.
Yes.
Because we're always in our masculine energy,
right?
Right. We're working
all the
independent,
time.
all that.
Masculine energy.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of the time, like you were saying, we come from households with very strong, independent black women, we're the heads of our household.
We have to be the rock.
I gotta do this for myself.
Yeah.
I can pay, I can whatever.
Yeah.
So now when you encounter a man that is like, oh, no, I got it. Or like, let me help you. Let me support you. Let me do this. And not because it was very jarring for me, because it's like, not because I want to anything out of this, but I actually want to do this for you. And then I could just like, I could be that softer side of me. I didn't have to like strive. I didn't have to, fight and whatnot.
But sometimes
adding to that, though. Adding to that, I've learned that yes, like I am able to be soft like that, but it takes that person who really wants to bring it out of me. And because oftentimes more than not, I get men that aren't like that, and then it goes back to the cycle of me being the masculine person, and that's not what I want to be. I really want the ones to come and be like, okay, no, it's fine, I'll do this thing, I'll whatever for you, because being an independent woman is like not an achievement. It's not. It's something that I'm doing. It's something that I have to do. I have to take care of myself. Something that I am a grown human being. I need to be able to pay for my bills. I need to be able to pay for my car and do all of that. However, the energy that I exude is the thing, right? The exuding the thing of, I can take care of it. Yes, obviously, I'm a grown human being. Yeah. However, now coming across a man, that's where the difference lies, because sometimes those men, you can come across a man that will take you out of that or you can come across a man that's going to take from you. And that's
or feel even emasculated by you.
And that, right? Because don't be a little bitch. That's one thing I don't want, right? Don't be a little bitch. Like, come with your chest.
She's coming with that.
Another thing I've learned is to not take things personally. Like, and that was a really hard one for me to learn. In a sense that whatever anyone is doing, it's not because of me. If they wanted to, they will. So that's like point blank, period.
True.
That, which means if they don't want to, they won't. Yes. And that's not to say that I suck as a human being or I'm a terrible person. It's just that they chose to not be about me because that was their choice. That was their thing. I've also learned that. So I'm an extremist.
I know you've been learning. You're like,
I'm an extremist, right? I'm an extremist, right? Which means like it's either you're in or you're out.
Hey, Miguel.
Girl.
Like, do you like me or do you not like me?
Of course.
If you said you like me, okay, do the things, okay? Do the things, right? Do the things. And if you like me, okay, why are we married with a house?
Oh, girl.
What's going on? So, like, I'm in being an extremist, I've learned that, like, sometimes it's not gonna go the way that you thought. And rather than being like, oh, this was a waste of your time, be like, okay, what did we learn? Okay, we learned that we like men that do this. We like in your relationship for this to happen. We like this type of communication. We like we like being gifted. We like being treated like a princess. We like when he calls you like this, or when he does these things. You take these gems along the way.
You definitely have to like be more you self-centric, right? Especially when it comes to relationships, because I am often a person who's always considerate of the other like person and like what he wants and what this, but it's like, in order for both of us to be happy, I also need to get what I need out of it, right? But I think something that I've also unlearned. Learned. You know, the
learning happened.
You know, there's this, we always say he has to show up, but we never ask, how can you show up? What does showing up look like to you? For some men it could be, I will be there physically. For some men it'll be if you need any resources, like because I'm busy. Or for some men it could be, I'm calling you and this is something that I would want us to start asking questions when we are in the fact-finding mission of dating and whatever, to be like, so, you know, what does showing up mean to you?
Sure.
Because that's also a very deep personal question, because he might have had parents that showed up for him, or there might have been parents that didn't. And that response will then determine how he then responds to their relationship, right? So often what I see is that, just based on friends who are being in relationships and all that jazz, what I've seen is that often what happens is you fall in love with this person. You love what they are, you love what they do, what they're about, what they want to do, but then you forget about where they came from. And often that usually directs how they then relationship, right? So you'll find that a lot of men who are in relationships that come from households where PDA wasn't shown, love wasn't communicated, you know, parents would probably have very passionate, violent fights, or no fights at all, even though it's an issue. You know, you have to be aware of those things, and those dynamics will ultimately bring themselves in your relationship, right? So asking these deep questions to say, what does showing up look like to you, especially in a relationship? How would you ideally want a girlfriend or a partner to show up for you? And then also asking the question, what do you want love to look like, or what do you want love to be like for you? Especially asking men this question is so important because they are never asked these questions.
What's an example of an answer to that question?
I asked this question. I asked this question to my person. I'll be honest, because he used to produce this podcast, so our relationship has been on and off this podcast, so it's not an issue. But I asked this question, and strangely enough, his response was sweet. People would always like love to me means this and this and this, but he was like, love to me, his first response was, love to me means, the way you make me feel. You're constantly always checking up on me, you're constantly always making sure that I'm taken care of. There's little things that you do that makes me feel seen, right? And I was like, okay, cool, that's fair, that's a fair response. But you're talking about the now. I'm talking about your inner child, right? When you were when you were at home and you saw your parents and you were like, this doesn't feel right. What were the things that you said you wanted for yourself when you were older, right? Because we all have an inner child. We all have someone where we're like, I remember this specific moment, whether it's good or bad, and you either wanted to continue in your new home or you want to completely leave it. And so it took him some time, right? Because he had to really think about it. And the question I asked was deeply philosophical. If you ask anyone, what is love to you? You'll get different answers. Some people will be, very quick with it. Some people won't be. But what I found is that mostly us women are very quick with responses because we've been conditioned to yearn for it, to be ready for it. Whereas men,
it's the ultimate thing.
Men are
Marriage is the ultimate.
Love is like an additional thing compared to the other things. So if I get it, I'm lucky. But if I don't, then it's obligatory, obligatory, right? So for me, I was like, I need us to understand, if we are moving together in this life thing, what we are basing love to be, and how we are then going to have a household that this is what love is. And so he then responded to say, for me, love is about showing up for moments that really matter, and showing up for moments where when we're struggling for help, I can show up and help you. Because that's something that he saw where his parents would be struggling individually, but the partnership wasn't there, and that's what he wanted. And obviously he's like, I want love to be positively displayed to my children. I want my children to see that a hug means a good thing, a kiss is a good thing, you did well, congratulations is a good thing. That is expressed through communication and love and vulnerability. He wants those things, but that took him some time to unpack because it meant he needed to look back to then look forward, right? And these are questions that I want people to be asking, because I think right now we're living in an age where we look at TV shows and that looks deep, that's what I want. But then when we are in real life situations, we're like, so what can you give me? No. If you want the real, something that you look at this person and you're like, yo, you need to be asking those type of questions that fills your soul and your spirit is content. When you look at this person, you're like, this is someone I can build a future with. When you look at this person, you're like, this is the person that will raise our children, and I'm happy with that. We're not just looking at this is the person that's going to look cute at Sunday roast with me. Sure. And then he's 60. Well, then what happens? You know what I'm saying? We need to look beyond the superficial, and I think that's something that I've unlearned this year, because obviously social media is purely superficial, right?
But some people don't really realize that, though.
Exactly.
That's the thing. So people because I really thought we're joking on Twitter. I really believe this is jokes. People really don't do this. There's no way, because we'll say ridiculous things I need to get a girlfriend allowance of 50K. Obviously everybody wants that, but obviously, if we're being for real, if we're being for real, obviously that's not a thing. But this whole Twitter chat that happens every 2 days, if does she need a girlfriend allowance? Does he pay on the first date? I always think those things are jokes, because obviously he's gonna pay on the first date. He's obviously gonna pay. He's literally obviously gonna pay on the first date.
I know.
But he really doesn't sometimes. And I learned that this year. I learned that sometimes ngempela. Like he doesn't, he's literally not lying. He's not joking. Yeah. He said women are trash, so I'm not paying for this date, and I give them 90 days before I start paying for dates. I thought he was joking. He was not joking. And I learned that this year. Yeah. This is a real life situation
and
that happened to me.
This is something that I often, is interesting. We always have this idea of like what expectation would be and then what reality is. I think we also need to be having those conversations when it comes to dating. Like sometimes when you meet up with someone for the first time and you know they tell you you'll probably have butterflies in your stomach, and you're like, no. But then maybe the person is engaging you intellectually and emotionally, but now you're like, I'm not feeling the butterflies, but now you're pushing them. But then you give them a chance, and then eventually the butterflies form because there's an emotional, deeper connection, right? I'm saying this is a superficial thing. Yes, obviously we're not saying date this guy. No, obviously you have an initial attraction and it's there, but then sometimes when you meet, like it's very different when you're here. Yeah. And when you meet face to face and you're like, not really. But then there's something where you're like, I'm still latching on. I'm interested. I'm curious. Don't shut those down because could be something that you least expected it, right? Like I didn't know that like when I first met Emil, like I was just like, who is this German-looking man who's in South Africa, probably trying to get... Like, what are you doing? What are we doing? And I wasn't initially, like...
Into
babies, right? But there was something about the way he saw or sees life. The way he's very creative and intellectual. Where I was like, let me give you a chance, right? Yeah. And with speaking...
So, how long did it take for the flip to switch? If you can.
So initially we were like, from the first time we started like seeing each other, like having like, the dates, then we started like meeting up all the time. Like I would be at Fitz and then I'm like, I'm going to one for coffee. He would show up. So he was always there. And what I enjoyed was the conversations we had at every meetup. Because for me, it just showed that I would never be bored of this person. And just the ability to just always like make me laugh, even though sometimes the jokes are not the greatest, but I'm still laughing. That for me was like, there's promise here, right? I think at the time I was looking for someone who was as serious as I was, who, wanted to establish something, maybe I'm an academic, maybe a business person. But then meeting him and finding out that he himself is an artist, I was like, okay.
Not to make sure.
But then as an artist, he opened up my mind to certain things, because I come from a background where my dad is an engineer, my sister's a lawyer, so rigid, like it's rigid. It's like stability, structure. But with him, his role doesn't have to be, it can be whatever. Like he has the box and he will be upstairs, standing outside of the box. Like he's challenging me. Yes. And that's something that I thought I didn't need. Because I was like, I don't need a challenging man. I don't know. But sometimes challenging means maybe changing your perspective in the right way. Surprisingly, I think when I started like engaging with him, especially because of how smart he was, and I was just like, okay, now I'm seeing you in a different light. I'm like, okay, now I see you differently. And then, I'm like looking at him a little bit different. I'm like, okay, you look a bit cute with your German mustache over there. You know what I'm saying? Like now I'm just like, because I'm now attracted to this, and then this happened. So I think that was something where it was unexpected, We were both on Tinder, and he was on Tinder looking for like, he was writing a play, and so he was looking at characters, and he was like, okay, this is an interesting character. And I remember him saying,
oh wow,
because
that's an interesting strategy.
Characters.
I'll use that.
You're looking at bios. Oh,
right,
right.
I love
he
that.
He didn't swipe right on anyone, but he said there was a picture of me where I was in New York, and the Empire State Building was behind me, and I was just like. And he was like, it's so different because usually people are like, look at me, I'm at Empire. But here I'm exuding like happiness. And there was something about that where he was like, this is a person I want to get to know. Yeah. Whether that's a friend, whatever, Nemi. And yeah, I think it was just something that unexpectedly turned out to be, honestly, like the greatest life lessons. Like honestly, every day there's always a lesson with him. Like it's either, okay, I learned that, maybe I shouldn't be as this, or today I learned that, mans doesn't like this. It's a lesson. It's a journey, and I'm embracing it. But it's difficult, guys. You have to be open.
Sure.
You can't be despondent. You can't be like, one thing doesn't work, I'm giving up completely. You have to like, and the thing is, it only works when you're both into each other.
Exactly.
Like
you think you
and you have to be honest,
each other, right?
You have to be honest. There's some people who date and they don't like their people. They don't like the person they
date. The people you like.
Date the people you like, and eventually that will become something that's strong because it's your genuine, your authentic self, right? And I just think for me, it's like when I look back at 21-year-old Candice, and I'm like, she's so different to now.
Yeah.
Like she's a completely different person, and I'm not mad about it. I'm actually happy about it because he's made me become a person where I'm happy, like with where I am, and I'm happy with the type of partner that I am because of him. And I'm sure he says the same thing because there's so many things that he's done differently that's beneficial to him as an individual, right? And I think that's ultimately what love should be. You're not changing yourself completely, but the way the person is, brings out the best in you, that you're content with who you are.
You can clearly see who's in a relationship.
Honestly.
Nah, guys, like we need to talk about your movies. Your movies.
We are learning.
Hey?
I'm like that. Yeah. No, but honestly, you've really spoken to me because I feel like another thing I've learned, because I think dating has been so interesting for me because it's made me, it's an opportunity to learn more about myself.
Right.
And one of the things that you said that I am learning and I've learned is that I used to use like my standards and my boundaries and just be like, okay, this is for me, like knowing what I'm looking for, knowing what I'm worth.
Listen.
But not realizing that I took it to the extreme and it was to keep people out.
Yeah.
And to keep people away.
Yeah.
And like just being open, being open, you learn so much. And even if it's not the one at the end of the day, it's going to get you.
Look like?
Changing your perspective.
For the people out there.
Honestly, truly, changing your perspective. So
what does that mean?
So hard, no.
If you find yourself on dating apps, because majority of us find it to be very convenient, right? Because I find meeting people in person these days is a bit difficult unless it's the job too. Right?
Yeah, unless you go to places.
Yeah. But what I found differently when I changed my perspective on dating apps was that I'm no longer seeing this person as a profile, but I'm seeing this person as whether a potential friend or potential lover, right? And that overall adding to my lifetime experience, right?
Okay.
And the lesson might be beneficial. It might hurt, but it will be a lesson either way.
Yeah.
Right? And so when I saw it that way, then I was also able to establish the boundaries for myself to say, okay, what is it that I'm looking for in this current moment right now? Am I looking for someone that I want to spend the rest of my life with? Or am I looking for someone for just like a good time? Like, you know, I want to go here, you come with me, or, you know, we can get to know each other. And also that is very open. It doesn't really set the parameters to say, we can see each other. Can we see other people? What are we doing? Because if you do see other people, then that's also hurting me low-key. You know, it's weird. So, but when I started saying, this is what I want, then at least then when I was going through the matches, I was like, okay, this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. Am I happy with, you know? Obviously, it's looks first. Like, am I happy?
You know, let's not lie to ourselves.
And then you look at the bio and like, I see the personality. Because some guys do put in effort. Some guys are very punny and they tell you exactly what it is that they're looking for. You're like, okay, I can give it and then it's a match. Then it's about being very deliberate and intentional about what you want from this person. Because person X is very different from person Y. They're not the same, right? And that's something that I learned, that yes, I swiped right on this one, yes, I swiped right on this one, but the experience of each and every person is different. And so that means I have to be very open-minded when I'm speaking to this different person. So I've noticed that the energy with this person is very different from this person.
Yes.
And I find myself talking more to this person, and so I'm going to invest more time in this person because that's what I want. Do you see how I'm not saying what they're looking for, what they need? It's me, what I want. So when I started looking at it that way, I was like, now I'm empowered in that I'm no longer finding apps to be overwhelming. I'm no longer upset at the fact that I'm not finding what I want. It's not because a consequence of me. It's just a consequence of the algorithm. And that's not a bad... It's not a bad reflection on
the
me.
material
At all.
I mean...
So you have to change your perspective. You have to do it. And look, Tinder works for people who... It works for anyone. If you're looking for someone where you just want a quick... you can get it done, right? But if you're looking for someone where you're like, I really want to date someone, there are so many people on Tinder who are working good jobs, who have whatever, but they're looking for something that's real. And oftentimes, we often are not giving them that. And that's when they choose to not. Because we're not asking the real questions.
I have a counter, because what I'm often finding is that us as people, not just us as women or us as men, us as people, we're not having honest conversations with ourselves. In terms of like what we want. We
that's so true.
We lie to ourselves, and we lie to others, and in lying to ourselves and lying to other people, we often see red flags, and we're just like, it's fine, I'll get over it, whatever, we can change, we really need to have honest conversations with ourselves and with the people that we're dealing with, and we need to be okay with letting people go, because this is not the thing that I want.
Exactly.
This is you can literally see, this is not the thing that I want. This thing is not going to be beneficial to me or to you or to us. But often, more times than not, men lie, women lie. We lie to ourselves.
That's
we lie to each other.
That's
the problem. I think we really...
That's very true.
Guys, can we start telling the truth? Be honest.
But the only
is
way...
Is what you want or not?
The only way... Look,
be honest.
It's difficult because you could even ask deep questions and someone could be lying.
That's what I'm saying.
It's tough.
That's what I'm saying.
Tough. I just think... It's about you knowing exactly what you want, like Lungi said. You go to the date and you say, to be very honest, this is where I'm at in my life. This is what's going right for me. And these are the things that I want for myself. And I'm looking for someone not to help me or whatever, but I'm looking for someone to be in that journey with me. And this is what I want from that person. What do you think about that?
And stick to it.
And stick to it the whole time. From date 5, it never changes. Just because it never changes. Always remain consistent to what it is that you want.
Women, because this is a woman problem.
Honestly,
this is a woman problem. I need us to stop begazellaring, and begazellaring not in relationships. We begazella our standards. We begazella our things that we set for ourselves. We'll say, hey, I don't like men that don't show up on time on dates. And then he's late. And he's late again. And he's late again. And you're still talking to him. You said you don't like guys that are late. Why are you still entertaining this man? We like compromising ourselves to our detriment. 100%. And men oftentimes don't do that. I really need us to be more like men. Really need us to
the world
I really need us to be more selfish and more. We need to stick to our word for ourselves.
Stick to your guns, because
stick to your guns,
this
guys.
is what you've always wanted. But I think there's this book that I've read.
She's about to die.
Oh no!
Completely.
But I have another one.
Okay. Of course. So there's this book that I read last year when I was in my single era, because for me, when I go through something that's life-defining, because breakups are life-defining. It either makes you, So I choose to read. I choose to engage in content. I choose to discover new places, ultimately discover new people. But at the time, I was very deliberate about, let me read so that I can really just base myself. So what I found interesting about this book, right, was that one thing that she mentioned in the book about values is that your values have to be very intrinsic.
Meaning? Within.
Like, of the person, not of what he's wearing, what he's driving, what he's doing. It needs to be, so basically, what are the values that you like or that you embody as a person that you would want your partner to have?
Like integrity, for example.
Integrity, honesty, some people say like they love someone like a God-fearing, things like that, right?
Punctual.
But that's you.
Yes.
Those are your values.
Yeah.
And you want those values in someone else.
Yeah.
And for me, that really changed things, because I was like, often our values are like very like, he needs to be doing this, he needs to be doing that, he needs to, and it's like, okay, it's not bad, because that's purely a physical appearance thing or a life situational thing. But sometimes life will show you that SARS can come knocking, or life like COVID could happen.
Yeah.
And are his values still the same? After?
Yeah.
And that's really powerful, right? So for me, I was like, so what are my values? So what are things that I like about myself that I would want in my partner?
Yeah.
I must be kind, must be caring, must be compassionate, must be understanding, must be honest. And as I was writing this, I was like, whilst I'm single, I was like, this is a meal. I was like, this is my ideal man. And I'm like, this is someone I had. Right? So obviously that put me in a space where I was like, ish.
I fucked up.
Not that I fucked up. We both, what happened is stubbornness came into play. I wasn't happy with where the relationship was compared to other people's relationships. And I admitted fault on my own. He also admitted where, he could have done better. COVID had a major impact on livelihood. So there's a lot, right? But I think that specific place, that specific thing needed to happen for us to connect and be stronger. But what that book did for me was just see love as a higher power. Instead of a consequence of, or instead of a movie or something bad. It made me see it in a very positive light. It made me embrace it for what it has the power to be. And that is enriching, that is empowering, that is life-changing, that is a friendship, basically. Because you're being friends with someone for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for me, what I saw about that book was that you need to be friends with this person, because there are days when sometimes you'll take off your relationship wig and be like, I'm gonna be your friend.
Listen here, nigga.
I'm gonna tell you, like, as your friend, what you did was wrong.
Yeah.
And now as your girlfriend, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's important in just letting it be what you need it to be for you, but embracing it as this thing that is beneficial to you, rather than this thing that you're so desperately trying to get. Because when you're so desperately trying to get it, then as a result, you're then getting nonsense on the side. But if you're intentional about it, if you're like, this is what I want, this is the things I need, then it'll happen to you. I'm sending this book. I'm gonna plug it on Instagram.
And I'll put a picture up while she's talking.
Yeah, but get it, please. It literally changed my life.
What's it called?
It's called
the listeners.
It's called Love is a Higher Power, or something like that.
Love is a Higher Power.
And this author, I'm probably getting this title wrong, but it's like pink and gold. You can find exclusive books, but you can also order it online. This author shares about her experiences of how she's been dating multiple men and the experiences she had and the lessons of each man. But for her, like, she also talks about online dating, and she's like 35, 36, 37. And, she's now a dating coach. But what she always says to women first is like, what about you?
What do you?
Because you're always saying what he needs, what he wants, what the ideal man is looking for. But what are you looking for? Because you are ideal, are you not?
And do you show up for yourself?
Mm-hmm.
We always want our partners to, like you're saying, we always want our partners to have all these things. He must do this for me, he must do that for me. Do you do these things yourself, for yourself first? Right? This is going back to the self-love thing, right?
Yeah.
Is that part of you fulfilled? Because you can't as much as people have had relationships from a place where they didn't love themselves, they still managed to get into a relationship and love somebody else.
Yeah.
I think it's more fulfilling where you have the relationship with yourself and you are able to love someone else at the same time. So we need to figure out like what we want in another person and see like, are we doing this for ourselves over and above? Does he have a car? Does he have a place? Because I have a car, I have
livelihoods,
a place.
yeah.
Fine. I want him to show up for me emotionally.
Yes.
How do you speak to yourself when you have fucked up? Do you say, Lungelo, fuck you, you're a bad person? Or are you kind to yourself and you're like, okay, babes, it's okay. You did this thing, it's fine. This is how we're gonna fit. Like, how do you speak to yourself? Because you want the outside voice to speak nice things, right? Oftentimes we are our worst enemy.
Yeah.
Be your number one fan
Be
first.
your best friend.
Be your best friend first, and then immerse from that.
Final wrap-ups, final thoughts, lessons. I mean, what would you like people to maybe sort of end off on the year in terms of like love for the year and love for 2023? I don't know, like, because you were so deliberate about how you set time for yourself for work and how that made, but like in terms of for you, for people, like what is it about love that you maybe are hoping for the new year?
I think for me personally, I guess where I'm at right now, and honestly, really, I think this conversation has been a confirmation for me. You were both speaking about like, how, just how we centering ourselves in our love journey, whether it's self-love or whether it's like being true to ourselves and not compromising. And one thing I'm learning and I've actively started doing and I want to do more of and that I would like to share with people is really being and embodying the love that you want and that you feel you want it, you deserve. So how that has come up for me is that, if, I have a challenge, or if there's, something that I want to express, often, you just fear of rejection, fear of looking like a loser or whatever, but then I
love him more than he loves me.
Then I ask myself, well, how would I want my ideal partner to handle the situation?
Yeah. Right.
And I'll be like, no, I'd want him to, reach out to me.
Yes.
I'd want him to ask the difficult question. I'd want him to fight for me. And then the challenge now on me is to act as that. So I'm embodying that ideal love that I know I deserve. So that's what I would encourage people to do. Become that for you. Even if they don't necessarily deserve it. It's not about them. It's about you at the end of the day and who you're becoming in love. So yeah, that would be my thing.
In whatever relationship I have from now, I would like to continue learning that it's, even if it didn't end off well, I would like to continue knowing that it wasn't a waste of time, and I actually had some good times with this person. It was a great time. I learned a lot from this person and whatnot. But over and above that, I'm really tired of singing the Men Are Trash song. I really want a different experience. That's like ultimately I would really like to come back in the new year and be like, oh, I found this guy, he's amazing.
Yeah.
This is something I want to say. I am tired of telling you these terrible dating stories, because what the hell? Why do I have to keep dealing with that? I want to deal with the wholesomeness. I want the princess treatment. I want all of that. This is like the external part of love, right? I want the whole external treatment. I want the kindness. I want the softness. I want the safe space for me to like lay my problems and be safe in knowing that this guy is there for me as much as I am there for him, as much as I am there for myself. Like independent woman, shame.
It's too much.
Shame.
It's too
wow. I'm saying this to y'all. I'm saying this to me that I'm tired of singing this song. I'm telling you right now, I am tired. My throat is dry from singing Men Are Trash. Men, so this is to you, men. Show yourselves, please.
Yeah, take the time.
Show yourselves, like the lovely men. I want to see them. I want to experience them. Yeah,
I love that for you.
I want that for me.
It's so deep.
Lost to find my thoughts.
Oh gosh. Embrace the experience of what love is. Whether you're single, whether you're in a relationship, I think at the end of the day, it is a lifetime experience, and it's something that all of us as human beings yearn for. And so if it's something where you are looking for it and you want to find it, embrace that journey, embrace that process of it in a positive light. Don't make it seem like it is a daunting task. Because at the end of the day, the outcome would be good, right? Lesson or person, right? That's what we're trying to go for. But I think for me, I am just constantly evolving and learning to always, not even learning, I'm evolving and I'm always falling in love with my person every day. And that will always look like good, it'll always be bad, but the outcome is I'm always falling in love. And so always just rise to it as a higher power, that it's there for you as a beneficial thing. And that is my final thought. I think going into 2023, I'm not even going to be like, I want a house, I want kids, no matter what challenge I'm going through next year, or no matter what good thing I'm going through next year, I at least know that I'm with this person, and just embracing each and every moment with them is incredible. So love
should be easy, guys. Love should be easy. I don't like language behind love is difficult, love is hard. I don't think that's the truth. If you're able to make the commitment to go to the gym every day, whether you want to or not, knowing that love should be the same thing.
Don't see it as a burden.
Don't see it as a burden. Because you want this thing, do it. Like, it shouldn't be work for you. If you're doing something that you love, it doesn't feel like work, right?
I agree.
And hopefully next time when I come back, we'll both be singing.
Manifesting, lighting the candles. We hope that you love the episode.
Show us some
one. Show us some love.
Show us some.
Hit that like button, subscribe, the bell notification.
Give us the 5 stars.
Give us the 5 stars.
Please comment
what you need to
say what you want to say, but say it with your chest. Thank you.
Exactly. But from me, Candice, and
me, Lungi,
and
Bokang,
we are out.
Bye.